Hey everybody, welcome to another unedited video. I am Nathan Jones and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining and stopping by. Now, I've already done my kind of spoiler-free review of Star Wars The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson's new film. But today I wanted to talk about a couple of reasons why I didn't really care for the direction of some of these things. Now, some of this is definitely my opinion, and some of this is based on some other factors that I've kind of thought about after I've watched it. I'm probably going to watch it again sometime, either today or tomorrow. That way I can fully submit these ideas. So this is another unedited video that I have. My laptop broke, if you've never seen my channel. So usually I have my laptop, this is just my phone, and I don't really have the editing software to fix it because I don't really like to mess it with my phone. But here, I digress. Let's just talk about some of the things that I didn't really care for Last Jedi. The first being, the first act of this film really kind of irked me. I was really excited going into this film. And by the way, this review is going to have a lot of spoilers in it. It's definitely going to spoil the movie. The first act was just super slow. You get Rey going to see Luke, and there's just a lot not going on. And really, there's no really direction except for the fact that she says that, you know, Han's dead. Pretty much, and that's pretty much the direction and we're supposed to take, that Luke is going to train her. However, and that's a great, I don't dismiss that. I do dismiss a little bit of the hesitance of Luke accepting. He's just this hermit, which is another flaw I want to talk about. Luke's character, he didn't seem like to be himself. I'm pretty sure I'm echoing a lot of YouTubers out there right now, or a lot of reviewers. But Luke's character was just so not him. And I mean, even Mark Hamill himself, I've seen countless interviews with him kind of shitting on this movie, or just shitting on this character or this direction that he's going, because Luke is definitely not this person. He would try to stop this. He would not be complacent with it and also just hide up in the corner. That's something he wouldn't do. And so I could definitely see that this tension between Rey and Luke, it didn't seem real. It felt a lot, I mean, I'm not going to say it again, but like, it felt forced. And yes, I mean that in the Force way. But that sounds really bad. I'm talking about Star Wars, of course, and the Force. But anyway, I digress. The first act was super slow, wasn't really getting to the story. I was really excited to get into this, and it really kind of just bummed me out there. Rey's arc this entire time, it seems as if I cared a little bit more about her in The Force Awakens. I didn't really understand why she was really there that much in this film. I mean, the only thing that I could definitely see that was good about this was Kylo or Ben Solo / Kylo Ren's story connected with Rey. Now, I could see the conflicted stuff there, and I actually like that aspect of it, but for the most part, Rey just felt like a character. I mean, if she died at any moment, I don't really care, because they didn't give me enough screen time with her. They didn't really give me enough backstory with her. Speaking of backstory, you know, the backstory is now that her parents were just drunken messes that sold her into slavery, which I think is a cop-out. I think we might actually figure out what's going on really in the next episode, but I hope so, because that was really a big letdown. You ask these huge questions like, is Rey a Kenobi? Is she connected to a Skywalker of some sort? What's going on here? How does she have the Force? Yada, yada, yada. I'm trying to figure that out. So, yeah, that was one of the things I was really disappointed by. Another thing was Snoke's character. Another thing we had going in was, who the hell is Snoke? Who is Supreme Leader Snoke? We wanted to figure this out. We don't know, because he kind of just died like a little bitch in this movie. And you could tell Kylo Ren was getting conflicted, and Snoke could feel that presence. In fact, Snoke was really powerful. You can tell he was just, you know, from across the galaxy, he was just, you know, shutting people down. Hux got his ass kicked from Snoke just by having a hologram with him, and so that's what's so insane. I mean, Darth Vader did the same thing with a Force choke. But, I mean, just this entire thing, they had this huge buildup just to be let down. It just seems interesting, because I really wanted to know the backstory, and I think a lot of people did. And so maybe they'll explore it, maybe they won't, but I mean, I guess that's the greatest trick, mindfuck, that you're going to get from this movie. Alright, so moving on from there, the entire Finn and Rose character arc, whatever the hell their journey was, just trying to get help, get a code breaker, get Benicio del Toro to be on their side, a stuttering Benicio del Toro, which I actually liked his character. Get him into the, you know, like they had to go to this casino planet, I can't even recall the name, with all these crazy animals that also just reminded me of the pod racing scene, and all for the sake of what? Trying to get this message of animal cruelty across, slash, hey, there's a new generation of kids who are force sensitive, and I'm going to give them this medal to remember them that there's hope always, which, good and all, but for the pacing of the movie, it did not fit whatsoever, on top of the fact that it just seems like I don't care anything about Finn or Rose. I mean, you could tell with Finn, he was becoming a traitor again. I mean, what the heck kind of thing was with that? I mean, I understand that he is, you know, he's originally one of the first order, and wanted, you know, to potentially go back or just get out of it all. And I get that. And I actually like that connection that Benicio del Toro tells with Finn, is that, like, hey, maybe good or evil, bad or good, people sell to the Jedi, people sell to the Empire, the Rebellion. They're on all sides, and honestly, I just do it because of a paycheck, but also at the same time, why even participate? So I really enjoyed that aspect, but for the most part, that felt like a really wasted storyline, and I didn't care at all for that. Next thing was, there was a constant Lucas animal slapstick thrown in this, and like I said, just like with Finn and Rose's storyline, it felt really forced and didn't really fit the tone of the movie. And so it was really strange. There were some moments that I thought probably could have been taken out, but for the most part, there was a couple things, like the Porgs were fine. I didn't mind them. I actually thought I was going to go in there and being like, this is the next Ewok or Jar Jar. Wow, I can't talk. And this is what happens when you unedited things. You do unedited things. So besides animal slapstick, you also have one of the biggest flaws for me. In the Death Star. In Luke's character. And I talked a little bit about it earlier on. Luke's character seemed very unfit for what's going on. Mark Hamill obviously voiced his concern on all of this. He didn't really care for the direction that this was all going, and I can see why. This is definitely not in his wheelhouse. And the way he went out, while powerful, and the message there is good, it seemed like a cop-out. And it seemed like it wasn't supposed to go out that way. There was no really grand lightsaber fight in this movie, which is fine. I don't mind too much. I mean, I do go to Star Wars sometimes to see those, because that's the saving grace of Episode 1, Episode 3. It's two of the best Jedi lightsaber fights ever. You get a kind of a hint at it with the Snoke's guards and Ren and Rey, Kylo Ren and Rey fighting those guards, but that's not even close to the thing. And also, Captain Plasma. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. I'm starting to think of things that also really irked me. Captain Plasma, you don't get very much there either. It kind of felt like Boba Fett all over again. It's like, wow, this character is so badass. You can tell that they're trying to really care about this character, and then, well, if she's still alive, kind of died like a little bitch, and that's just how that went. But back to Luke's character, it just seemed like it didn't fit the storyline at all, nor did it fit his character. I expected... the thing I really enjoyed about A New Hope all the way to Return of the Jedi is Luke's development. Luke's development, he was a farm boy on Tatooine who was, given this immense responsibility in the first film, and he felt really undertasked. And that's something that Obi-Wan tried to help him through. And that's something that I really appreciated, because in the 5th episode he felt lost. He couldn't figure it all out. I mean, he was getting better at the Force. However, it seemed like all was lost. Obviously, Empire was more on the bad side. He lost his hand. He found out that Darth Vader was his father. There was a lot more character development and depth added to that struggle that he was going through. And then finally, in Return of the Jedi, you see him years later, a master of the Force, because he's been training his ass off, pretty much trying to be like, hey, I'm going to beat my father at any cost, and I'm going to help my friends. And you can tell throughout the entire movie that he is building up to be, he's super level-headed, as he gets captured by the Emperor and Darth Vader, and they fight together, and he's just trying to pretty much talk and persuade Darth Vader, being like, hey, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. And pretty much persuades him, obviously, on his side. He kills the Emperor. Darth Vader kills the Emperor after almost defeating Luke. Darth Vader helps Luke Skywalker and ends that saga. And you can tell that Luke learned a lot by just doing that. So now, fast forward, I mean, obviously you skip a little bit with The Force Awakens. You just see him stand there with the hood. And then the first scene you get is, well, funny and slapstick, throws the lightsaber behind his back. It's like, nope, the Jedi are no more. This is ludicrous. Like, what did he find when he was going to search and figure this out? I don't really buy into the, hey, let's start a new Jedi temple. Oh, wow, I had one apprentice who had elements of the dark side, Kylo Ren. Ben Solo, he had elements of the dark side. He killed some of my followers. He also took some. And darn, I'm quitting the whole entire thing. Yeah, there is no good. What's this all about? I'm very confused by that. So, I mean, give me some of your comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts on this as well. And the last thing, and I don't buy too much into this, I want to tell everyone this enough. I have this strange, suspicious feeling, and it's kind of like the Force in a way. There's some implicit danger in this movie, in my eyes, and I'm kind of confused culturally. Obviously, I don't really talk about politics in this channel, nor do I talk about politics at all. I don't like to bring it up because this is a movie channel, and I really enjoy just talking about movies, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes or anything like that. But there's an implicit danger in this movie sacrificing, and I'm talking about the story. I'm really talking about the story. Nothing to do with anything else. They sacrifice story for diversity. And when I say diversity, I'm saying they are just going all out on this. We have to have every single character of different race, color, ethnicity, and that's not a bad thing, by the way. I don't see that as a bad thing. I think that's actually a really great thing. But I think they put too much effort into that and don't really think about how crafting a really good story, a story that will sell Star Wars fans. And I'm not just here to be like, hey, George Lucas, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, please sell us another Star Wars film that caters to us. I actually appreciate that this film kind of takes some stabs at us, but don't sacrifice a good story because you have lots of pacing issues with this movie. It has nothing to do with it being Star Wars or well. If I never watched a single Star Wars in my life, I would have still had some problems with this movie. I would have still had problems with pacing. I would have had some problems with character development. The visuals were fantastic, and so was the score. I really enjoyed that. That's some stuff I talked about in my review. But once you sacrifice this story and this character development and why I should care about these films, why I should care about these characters in these movies, because barely any of these characters give me any screen time. I mean, I barely see Chewie, I barely see R2, and I barely see C-3PO. I mean, you get throwbacks to those good times with Yoda, obviously, but there's nothing really there. There's no substance for me to latch onto. And that's something I have the biggest problem with this movie. I think they care too much about diversity. This might be my own opinion, and didn't really delve into story that much. So, with that all being said, I feel like I'm done ranting. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope this video gets a couple more views because lately I've been kind of declining, mainly because I don't have the best technology at hand. I want to get my laptop back, and I have some things in mind. I hope everyone's having a really great holiday, enjoying The Last Jedi. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And by the way, by no means am I saying this is a bad movie. I just have some big issues with it. I like the movie a lot. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. I'm leaning more towards a 3.5 out of 5. There's some good things about it. There's some bad things about it. No movie's perfect, except for Lord of the Rings, in my eyes. But that's just me. So I want to hear your thoughts down below on this film, The Last Jedi. I want to hear your thoughts. So give me a comment down below. Like this video as well. Don't forget to share it. And also subscribe because I'm not jonesing around.